The battle lines, if you call them that, are being drawn at the state capitol this week. Republicans want this and Democrats want that. With us here today are two state senators, Paul Formica, he is a Republican, and Norm Needleman, he is a Democrat freshman. Congratulations on your election and congratulations on your re-election. Thank you. And thanks for being with us here today. And I will begin with you, Senator Formica, because you've obviously done this drill before, you've been in the Capitol before. What exactly do Republicans want to accomplish in this session?
Well, you know, we would like the opportunity to stay the course. We're in the middle of a strong, bipartisan, historic budget that we put together over the last year that is showing great things for the economy, great things for the state, and we think it's important to stay the course and do the right thing for the state of Connecticut, irrespective of the numbers, and move those bipartisan pathways that we learned to really work through last year into this next session.
You have a bigger majority, your party does, in the General Assembly this year, and you'd like to make some big changes, some progressive changes. What kind of things do you want to accomplish this year?
Well, I think the caucus has some things on their agenda, like raising the minimum wage and paid family and medical leave, but specifically speaking about me, I ran because I want to make sure that the state's economy grows, that we manage our spending and figure out how we're going to get through the next 7 years and really propel the state to a new future. Senator
Formica, would you support a higher minimum wage?
Well, I've been in business for a long time, and I know you don't get that way through, you know, having unhappy employees. And so in my particular business, we pay close to that. I think if we're going to do a mandated government minimum wage, I think we have to tie it to some index. I think there has to be some benefit to the business community to offset any increased costs, because there are a lot of small mom and pop shops that are going to find it difficult to absorb an increase in minimum wage.
The governor wants to institute tolls for trucks only, he has said. There are some progressive Democrats who want tolls for every vehicle that comes into Connecticut. Which do you support?
I think that tolling as a way of raising revenue is probably a given somehow, some way, because we need to fund transportation properly and in a guaranteed way. And I hope that any money that would be dedicated for it would be spent specifically for transportation. I'm not sure about the legality of only doing trucks. I know that's under conversation in Rhode Island or under lawsuit.
Do you like that idea, the trucks only?
I don't think it's legal. I don't think you can do it. I think that I'm not in favor of the DOT plan that had 70 or 80 tolling entries. I think that we need to find some compromise. I think that if I was designing the plan, I would be giving significant discounts to in-state residents. I think that people below a certain income should have a ability to write off the first $200 in tolls from their taxes.
Do you support tolls at all?
So we, as a Republican Party, put together a plan we call Prioritize Progress, which was our capital infrastructure plan, which offers an opportunity to rebuild our roads and bridges without the need for tolls and higher taxes. And part of that plan is implemented in this year's budget, actually, up to $100 million, which is taking discretionary bond funds that all governors have enjoyed over time and redirecting them into the special transportation bond payments. And we think we can do it.
So is that to say you'll vote no on tolls? Should it come down the pike?
You know, we've consistently voted no on tolls, and we've been able to, through this historic budget over the last year, get our plan in. So let's see if it works. And I agree with the senator that, you know, Rhode Island is kind of paving the way on whether truck tolling is legal. I don't believe it is either. And I think tolling is another tax for the people in the state of Connecticut, and it's going to increase the cost to the consumers and the cost to do business.
Governor wants to legalize marijuana. Do you support that, Senator Needleman?
I do.
In which form? Should it be a certain age?
Of course.
21, 18?
No, 21, highly regulated.
Only to buy in certain shops?
Certain shops.
Public smoking?
No, absolutely not. I think you go to Colorado, you look at some of the states that have been doing it for a long time, it seems to work. There's not that there's no downside to it, but you know, I grew up in an era in the 1960s and 70s when smoking pot was the beginning of a trend. I think it's about time that we move away from criminalizing that behavior, and although we should be very respectful of people who've lost family members to the opioid crisis. The data doesn't really suggest that smoking that joint is going to lead to becoming a heroin addict. No more than taking that first beer is going to lead to becoming an alcoholic. So I think that it's about time that we do it.
Senator Formica?
So I think there's a couple of things with legislation that's always the devil is in the details. And, you know, the Police Chiefs Association is concerned about tests for impairment. I think we need to find out what the legalities are of that. What about those specific defense industries or other employers who forbid having marijuana in the system? What legalities are we if you can't have it 9 to 5, but you can have it from 5 to 9? So I think we have to work on that. Certainly other states probably have worked through that. I think we need to look and see what's going on, but we're being surrounded by it. So it's something we need to look at. And if we have the proper controls, and we legalized medical marijuana a few years ago, we developed a nice pathway for supply and distribution, and what happens with that? I mean, so there's some details that I think we have to talk about with regard to legalization. And, you know, when is, you know, the big talk is about the revenue. That's why it's coming forward. And when will that be affected? And will it be affected in time to make a difference in the next budget?
I know he's only been governor for 10 days, but what do you think of Governor Lamont so far in terms of his style and what he's done?
Listen, he came down into London early, which I thought was important. London is a great and potential hub of economic activity in the next 5 years, and he came down and talked about that. He's very open. I know Senator Fasano, who is our leader, has had numerous conversations with him about some of the issues we've talked about this morning. And I like his style. He's open. He's willing to have people inside the tent and talk about it, and I hope that continues.
Do you think he's going to be hands-on with lawmakers, or he's going to let Lieutenant Governor Bicewicz do more of that while he's out recruiting businesses, as he says?
So I would like to see him be the economic development person in chief. I think that's the great role that a governor can play. I also think that he's reaching out to a lot of people. We did a press conference early on when the tariffs hit. I did one with him because my business was very negatively impacted by the tariffs. We had $1 million in cost increases, and he was right there. We were talking on camera about the damage to business. So I think that Ned has a lot of good things that he's going to do, and it's a very different personality in Hartford.
We thank you, Norm Needleman, Paul Formica, state senators both. Thanks for being on the program. When we come back, we'll talk with Rick Green about what could be the hottest race of 2019, the race for Hartford mayor. Also, we'll take a look back at talk of legalizing marijuana in the early 1970s. And we welcome your comments on social media. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.